Here we go.
I always like the cards that tell you who did the restoration because I'm like, oh,
Oh yeah.
thank you, you guys. It's like,
Thank you to
oh, they did the
the
restoration.
yeah.
This is gonna be a
Didn't
good
know
one
that.
then.
Yeah. I know. I think TCM actually has like a BFI nights this month, and I'm surprised. Like this isn't in it. I was like really surprised.
Yeah,
They must have not gotten the rights for this month.
yeah. I mean, this is one of the British films. I'm not
Pinnacle.
British, but as far as I understand, uh, we did this movie as an episode a few years back.
Hmm.
And I tried to get it straight from the horse's mouth, and all the British people were like, "This is the quintessential British film," and all of their hang-ups and social uh, restrictions make sense to us, and maybe don't make sense to American audiences. But
That's funny because I feel like nobody here talks about this, especially on film Twitter. Like unless you're like in that classic cinema Twitter, which is like me and like five other people.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
Noel
because it's an
Coward.
early lean.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when you think of David Lean, you think of
Lawrence of
Lawrence of
Arabia, yeah.
Arabia, Bridge on the River Kwai,
Dr.
which
Zhivago, yeah.
are three movies of his that I have not seen yet. So to me, David Lean is Brief Encounter guy,
He's Brief Encounter guy, yeah. Blythe
which is
Spirit guy.
pretty great.
I think this platform is like there's like a platform. I was like watching a YouTube video earlier about it. Basically, they designed. I don't know if they designed it, but the platform is like still there, and like it's just they have like a
Oh,
little mini brief encounter museum where
oh,
there's six. I think it's six movie chairs, and it's just played on a
nice.
loop 24/7, and you can just sit and watch
Oh
brief
my
encounter while
God,
you're waiting. I don't know what town it's in. Maybe I can like let me see briefing
that's pretty
on the
great.
fly.
I love these two. I love that there's this, while we have our main love story, that there's this
Hmm.
other kind of funnier story of two people, pursuing each other and their
Hmm.
stations in life. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the town is Carnforth, no, the Lancashire, England, Carnforth Station.
Hmm.
And in the video, there was like a husband and wife that had like remodeled this. There's like another like cafe type of thing, but they redid it to make it look like this. And the video is from 9 years ago, so I assume it's probably still there. I
Nice.
don't know. But yeah, they have like a
Oh,
whole
hey,
little
it's
museum there.
it's the most evil woman in film history, which you can't fully appreciate until the end of the film, but
Oh yeah.
my God.
I mean, right away, you just get that the tension between them, you immediately
Mm,
see it.
yeah.
And then when he does like the shoulder press, it's like the Pride and Prejudice like on the back, like moving the
Yeah. Yep.
hand. Like
Yep. Yeah, I watched this first and then Carol, Todd Haynes'
yeah.
Carol.
Hmm.
And so I was like, oh my God, I know what this is. I know what he's doing here.
I know. I think I saw
Which, I mean, Carol's
Carol.
still great and,
Yeah.
great
I
in
think I
its own
saw
way,
it
but
in theaters in 2015 and I was like, wait, there's a brief encounter references in
hmm
this.
hmm
Great film, Carol. Just a classic Christmas movie.
Yep,
Carol.
that's right. Yeah. I love this opening because we start with the funnier couple, and then the woman comes in, and you can tell that something is wrong, mainly with Laura,
Hmm.
because Alec is just being so polite.
Yeah.
But it, it if you don't if you're the audience watching this for the first time when this came out, you might not grasp what's happening. And then when it comes back around later, even though you've seen them in these costumes and in this place, it's not until she pops in the door and you're like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
get it now.
Mm. Oh, that right there, that touch. they do such a good job with they barely even they didn't did they say one word to each other or just I gotta go bye basically.
Very, yeah, very little.
I love
It's
her
good too because
narration
even
of
though
just
they
like
repeat this later, the score is different, the way that they shoot
mhm.
it is different. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, they have that like that Dutch angle at the end
Mm-hmm.
that tilts back and forth so good. I love her narration coming up here where she's basically just like, "Can you please shut the hell up?" That's basically what she's saying the entire time. Yeah, she is I don't she hasn't spoken a word yet until right now. She's just sitting there. Celia Johnson.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we don't see it until later, but meanwhile, she just went outside to commit suicide and like walk
Yep.
back inside.
Hmm. Yeah, like looking at that, you're like, oh, I guess she just ran out. But then
Right.
you just, when we come full circle, and then you see right before her coming in here, you're like, holy shit. Back when they used to light films too.
Yes.
Today they'd be like, I can't even see what's on the track. What the hell's going on here?
The saying everyone in this cast is great gets bandied about quite a bit
Hmm.
when we're talking about movies that we like, but this is a small cast, and I do feel that everyone in it is even if they're
Yeah.
fulfilling a role that's kind of like stereotypical, like the woman who runs the shop, they're all good, they're all memorable. This
Hmm.
lady's very good at being annoying, and I want her to die too.
You're just behind the camera, like, God, I want her to shut up too.
Hmm.
I was watching it. I think it was on the Criterion Channel. I think Greta Gerwig was like getting interviewed, and they always like pick a movie and then they talk about it. And she talked about this, and she said what's great about her is like she doesn't have like a movie star face. She
Hmm.
looks like a I don't want to say average, but she just looks like a person you would just pass in the street.
Yeah.
And it's not like a Betty Davis or a Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a big movie star.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's what makes it more effective. Like if this was like Katharine Hepburn, I think it would take a little bit away from it because she would just overpower everyone in the cast. Because you're just like, oh, it's just Katharine Hepburn, me and Katharine Hepburn right now.
I do I love this focus on the mouth
Hmm.
where we know that she's not processing a single thing that she's saying. All that she can focus on is like, you're still talking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even you as
agree
the
that she
audience aren't
doesn't
even
have
like paying attention to what she's
r-
saying. You're like,
right. I agree that she doesn't have like a movie star face, but I think that she does have a great face for film. At
hmm
different points throughout this movie, she literally looks like a Tim Burton character,
hmm
without being, done up in like dark makeup.
hmm
It's great. Yeah. I mean, I'll just say over and over and over again over the course of this episode, I- I'm
How good
just
she
so
is.
taken with her. Yeah, she's incredible in this movie, and so much of it is communicated through her face, through her looks. I mean, all of these narration scenes, that she's doing right
Hmm.
now, which apparently she hated doing because she had to like memorize her lines and then not speak them, but act as if she was hearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reciting them in your head. Yeah.
she did not enjoy having to just sit there looking like this while being filmed, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm looking at her. She was in two David Lean before this too, in which we serve, also No Coward,
Yes.
and This Happy Breed, which I have a box set. I think it's from Japan. It has like all of his early stuff. That I found at like a local like record shop for like $9, and it was out of print on eBay. It's like $100. I was
Nice.
like, I mean, I'll take this. And the discs work. The player read them, so I guess we'll
Mm.
see. They looked pretty scratched, but I mean, for $9, whatever. This was in it, but I have this Criterion. I have like that Criterion Noel Coward set.
Hmm. Yeah, shout out No Coward.
She was nominated for Oscar for this, right? Let me see. Yeah, 3 Academy Award nominations: director, actress, and screenplay. They didn't win either.
Oh, kids, so concerned with trivial things while your parents are falling in love and suicidal.
Having an emotional affair. I think it's more of like once you realize what she does and you're like, damn, she comes right home to her kids. Like after all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's the movie does such a good job of showing all of the different pulls on her,
Hmm.
social, familial, personal, moral, and I feel like none of them are really like necessarily evil. I mean, I'm not very big for social norms and customs, but I think now we can watch this in 2024 and be like, oh, they should have just done X, Y, and Z. But I
Hmm.
think it's kind of disrespectful to the characters and to the people who were alive at this time to not realize that the pressures that they felt were very, very real. Like we can just be so
Hmm.
flippant, like, oh, who cares? You
Yeah.
know? And it's like,
That's
well,
true.
they care. And that's the point is you have to
Yeah.
care about what they care about. And I think the movie does a good
Hmm.
job. Like Fred, I, I don't know. How do you feel about Fred?
I mean, he comes off as like a very like you said, like a caricature of like, but he is interested in why she's feeling
Yeah.
terrible. It's not like
Yeah.
he like other movies they would just be like, yeah, who cares? Like you're just suck it
Hmm.
up. Like, but the way he's dressed, it comes off like he could be, I guess, like an asshole
Yeah.
to her in a way. But the more you watch it, like he listens to the entire story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he listens to it's not like he just stops her halfway through. Like
Yeah. And I love it as a subtle reveal that because when she starts the narration of the events, she's
hmm.
not actually speaking to him. It's in her
Hmm.
head.
Hmm.
Then throughout the narration, she is mentioning him, like when she says, "Oh, I called you. Do you remember that?" You know.
Hmm.
And then you get to the end and you realize, "Oh my God, she really just told him this." And I think a worse director would have cut into this room and them
Hmm.
talking and then back.
Back
But
out. Yeah.
they wait until the very end, and you're like, oh my God.
You
And then,
almost
yeah,
forget
like,
like you had that conversation. She was having that conversation.
right, right. Because we're interested in what's happening, so we forget where it's being spoken from.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't view her kids as evil or her husband as evil
No.
or you know, I mean, I guess I shouldn't go on record as saying British society is not evil,
I think all
but
societies are evil in a sense.
yeah, but you know, she's just navigating like what's happening to her
Yeah.
and weighing and judging you know, what's best and what she wants, and
Hmm.
it's great. It's wonderful. And the first time I watched this, I didn't really think about it as her movie. I thought it
Hmm.
more about Laura and Alec.
Hmm.
And then each time I've watched it, I'm like, oh my God, no, this is Laura's story and Laura's
Hmm.
experience. Alec leaves, like Alec gets on his train and we never see him again. We don't see
Bounces.
his let down
Mm.
of these meetings. We only see
Hmm.
hers, you know?
Yep. And he does a good job of like this entire sequence. Like she's just an everyday person. She has a
Mm-hmm.
husband, kids at home, comes home
Yep.
and
Yeah,
just
there's
hangs
something
out.
about before filmmakers become huge and ginormous.
Hmm.
Like my favorite Christopher Nolan films are Following. I think Following is incredible. Obviously Memento is incredible, and
Hmm.
I think the worst thing that can happen to directors who are so good. I mean, look at everything that they're pulling out of every scene. Eh, This is just people talking and meeting up. There's not great stakes. There's not grand,
Hmm.
crazy events and special effects and whatever. And yeah, I wish directors like never got money and
Got
never
big.
got access
Got
to bigger
big.
things, because then
Like
you
Barry
get,
Jenkins doing Mufasa.
Inception and Tenet, and those ones are more like, okay, like I see what you're doing here. You got big ideas, but imagine if you could apply those things to $1 million movie
Yeah.
instead of
Hmm.
$100 million movie.
$300 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Nolan to go back to like a prestige type
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
smaller story,
Nolan,
but
Spielberg, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you told Steven Spielberg, here's $5 million, make me a movie, I think that, limitations can be very beneficial
Hmm.
sometimes. And when you
Oh
have
yeah.
access to everything and suddenly not everyone is saying no to you and there's no restrictions,
Yeah.
I think
You
that's
can do
when you
whatever you
kind of
want.
get lost in the weeds and you get,
Yeah.
Ready Player One,
Like I
where
would say like the Fablemans is more of, I guess,
sure,
a more
but even
tighter,
that
but I mean that says like
is
$100 million
bloated.
budget.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bloated movie with
Mm,
fantastic moments.
yeah.
Where if it was pulled in a little bit more and he didn't have, you know, all this time and all this money,
Mm,
maybe it would be distilled to something like this Brief Encounter. What is this? 83
yeah.
minutes? 81 minutes?
83 minutes,
Something?
yeah.
Yeah. It's distilled. It's powerful. It's effective, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, look at Spielberg's like Duel. I think it's like
Well, right.
80, 75 minutes. Yeah.
Duel is one of my favorite Spielberg movies.
Yeah.
And
There's
that
no
whole thing
fat.
takes place in a car,
Yeah.
and it never gets boring. It never gets
No,
boring.
no.
Ah, the grit in her eye.
But I do recommend his bigger stuff though, David Lean. I mean,
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and if you have
I'll
a
get to it
chance to
eventually.
see Lawrence of Arabia on the big screen first, I would recommend that. They are long. Dr. Zog was like 4 hours long. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
be prepared. So,
I love her just pouring this little cup straight into her eyeball.
I know I was looking at the coffee cup that they or the coffee like maker that they had earlier. It's like really
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
tall.
Mm-hmm. A
And
little
then
decanter.
whenever I watch these movies and like shoot, they were like when her and her husband were sitting around the fire, I was like, damn, no movies to watch while they're at home.
Right.
Like, they got to
Just doing the
sit and talk to
crossword.
each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. That's why Brief Encounter happens.
Yeah, they ran out of things to talk about. So,
I
like,
I do love the little bit of grit as kind of a symbol of what's happening with her. She's just
mm,
going about her day, and then this little thing happens, and it completely stops her, and it needs to be dealt with. And ultimately, it's removed. And
mm,
that's what happens with her with Alec. She's just going about her day, and it's a little thing that becomes bigger and bigger and bigger.
mm.
So it's an interesting way to kind of start their relationship.
And he starts the relationship also with him touching her.
Yep. I love all of her headwear in this. Oh my God. Like this is kind of like a wrap turban type thing. Looks
Yeah,
great. The hat from the previous
it's like
scene
a
is insane. It's like
it's
a
like a weird conductor's hat, like it's like off
hmm.
centered.
Yeah, it's the Donald Duck hat.
Yeah.
And then this lady's got a great hat.
People don't wear hats anymore in movies. They just don't.
Nope.
I want someone to have the balls in like 2025 to make a movie just like this, shot the same way, black and white.
Hmm.
It's a 1940s looking movie. I guess they did
Hmm.
with like the artist in a sense.
Oh,
Kind of.
don't remind me. Oh my
Kind of.
God.
That wins Best Picture just because it's, oh, we made a silent movie
Well,
in 2011. So,
eh, listeners, you know, please forgive Pat for having me on, but you know, the Oscars are 95% of the time
Wrong.
the what's the word? They're the indication of what movies don't age well rather than the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. If you look at just look at every single one that's won, going all the way
No.
back, very rarely is it a movie that we're still talking about. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
looking
best
at
part about the
the
Oscars is you can look at it and say, "Oh, okay, this is something I literally will not hear anyone talk about in 5 years."
and I'm looking at the this year's because she was nominated for Best Actress. Um, she lost to Olivia de Havilland for To Each His Own. Mm, I think she
God,
should
to
have
just
won.
stand on a corner, cranking a crank.
Yeah. Oh, in that video that I was watching about the platform that's there, that this platform's still there. They like rebrought. I think this clock that was there was like in storage, and they like fixed it and hung it back up. And they were
Nice.
like, they're like, we need because there was like one conductor guy that's still there, like just on the platform. And they're like, would you be willing to like wind it up every once in a while? And he was like, hell yeah. Like, I got nothing else to do. Like, I want to wind a clock up.
I'm a very big anti-smoker, you know? I think selling a product to addict people is wrong, but cigarettes were made for movies.
They
There's
were.
just something I watched Celine Song's Materialists and they're just
Hmm.
smoking in that movie and I was like, "Oh my God, smoking is back in the movies?"
Yeah.
Thank you, Celine Song.
It just looks
But like
cool.
this scene all throughout the background, you're just seeing smoke
Oh yeah.
lingering, different smoke puffs going up. It's great and it can't be replicated with vapes.
No.
The speed of the smoke is just not the same as cigarette smoke.
And obviously people hide it too because they don't want to see that
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
vaping. You think they're in the non-smoking section?
Yeah, this is the hat that I was saying. This is like the Donald Duck hat.
Oh yeah.
It's so great.
I used to smoke on airplanes. That's insane. And you sat in the non-smoking section as the smoke would
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
waft up to you.
I love Trevor Howard as Dr.
Hmm.
Alec. I I I don't know. I just think he's great. He's convincing and you can really feel like just his passion for this woman
Hmm.
and
This is his third
yeah,
film.
I don't blame him.
He just seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, chill guy.
Yeah. Cool dude just cheating on his wife.
Yep.
Yep. There is something so different about how, we see Laura and we see Fred, we see her kids. But for me, I'm like, oh, I understand you, Laura. You do what you gotta do. But then with Alec, I'm like, you creep, you got a wife, but we never
Go to your
see
wife.
her.
Yeah,
We never see
exactly.
her.
It's a good point.
And I'm still like, ah, you jerk.
But like you said though, it's this is her movie. It's not his.
Yeah.
He's just
Yep.
he's just a passenger in the movie. He's just a brief encounter. Nice.
Yep.
Full circle. I think it'd be less effective if you saw his side too. Slash, it'd also be
Hmm.
probably like 2 hours long if
Yeah.
we saw his
Right.
side. but but I think that's like the point of it too. It's like she doesn't need to know
Right.
because she only sees him in these moments.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of the play that this was based on?
Let me see.
I'm looking it up right now.
Um, based on the 1936 one act play Still Life.
Yeah, Still Life. So I guess it was the Noel Coward's costume designer was
Mm,
hired by David Lean to do the costumes for this movie, and they recommended the name
mm.
change to Brief Encounter.
I think it's a better title than Still Life. Still Life's a pretty good title too.
I was very upset to see that you cannot watch this movie, Flames of Passion. I looked it up. But there's a very famous silent film that I guess was like the first big British movie to make it kind of like
Yeah,
around the world.
look at it now.
Um, so I'm gonna
1922.
try to watch that.
Yeah, 1922. I'm looking at it now. Never heard of it. Flames of Passion.
Look at this dude behind them. Oh, lady, sorry. Look at this lady behind them. Just fur coat, cocked hat at the movies.
Yeah, that's the other thing when I like watch these like or even look at old like photos, you're like, damn, if I walked outside right now in this t-shirt and shorts that I'm wearing, the people that would stare at me and just stop and
Yeah,
look, being
yeah,
like, I need to
yeah.
think about like the humidity, the heat, like Jesus.
Yeah. People were wearing suits to the movies and to do pretty much anything. No, thank you. I'm not even wearing pants right now. Speaking of Donald
Flames of
Duck,
fashion. Exactly.
it's 100 degrees in New York as we record this. So
I wonder if the it's on YouTube because it is 1922, so it could be public domain. When I type in Flames of Passion 1922, the first video that comes up is Brief Encounter.
yeah, yeah, because there's other sick people out there who are like, "Can I watch
We're
the
looking
fake
for
movie in the movie that I
it.
like?"
Maybe it's a lost film. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Let's actually see. No, a print with Dutch titles exists at the BFI. So you'll have to fly fly there to watch
Yeah.
it.
I don't know if the deals at this place are good or not because I have to do like historical math plus British conversion. So
That's
she's
just too
like,
much work.
5 pence. And I'm like, sure,
Sure. Sounds good
whatever,
to me.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah. I love this pouring of cream just over like 5 mugs at a time,
Yeah.
not caring if it spills. It's pretty great. But yeah, the layers on these people. I mean, look at Laura. She's got like overcoat, scarf,
Yeah.
shirt, hat.
He's probably got shirt or undershirt, shirt, vest, jacket, and then overcoat
Yeah.
with a tie.
And I mean,
Jesus.
I'm talking about it in a slightly mocking tone, but genuinely, like, I think the costumes in this are great. I really do like all of Laura's headwear, and yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Just the pouring overall. It's so good.
I know that what they're saying is important, but it's
I was just about to say
almost
that. Like you
like
don't
you
really
could
care.
almost mute this
Yeah.
and put in anything. It's their body language and the exchange of like we're it, it's not even like necessarily a proposition of okay, are we taking this to a next level? It's just the understanding that things are becoming
Hmm.
more as they're happening between the two of
Hmm.
them.
Yeah, and their physical acting has changed a lot. Now they lean forward a
Hmm.
lot more towards each other.
Hmm.
Man, it's amazing when they would how they would light faces.
Yeah, the
I
slow
always
pull in.
I always say this whenever I watch older movies. I'm like, they just don't do it like they used to, man.
Yeah,
Especially with lighting. Like I always have a problem with lighting 'cause it's like they always like, well, it doesn't look like that. It's like, I mean, you can just make it up. If you don't, it's a movie,
right,
man. Like,
right.
like they're just this is my lighting in this movie.
I have I'm of like two minds when it comes to that whole idea. One, yes, these films are really great. I much prefer older films to new stuff. But like film history is literally the story of like technology and art
Mm-hmm.
growing together at the same time, and like the whole thing came about because of a leap forward in technology,
Mm-hmm.
and the interest that that art produced led to another leap forward, and so on and so forth. And so it's hard for someone who's, 31, who has their opportunity to make a movie and say, okay, but you have to do it this way. When
Yeah.
all of film history has been people inventing and innovating and moving things forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. And then when you try to do it with a movie like The Artist, it sucks. I mean, I think it sucks. Like The Artist has a few like okay, funny, quirky moments, but it's like it just doesn't work. So you have to find a
Mm-hmm.
way of doing this that makes sense. You have to be good at it, obviously, and I feel like it still needs to be kind of pushing forward. The DP for this also did The Third Man,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see this as like part of a testing ground for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Walking through tunnels and
Yeah.
shadows and smoke, and so anyway, not to disagree with you, because I agree with you. I don't know. Although I wasn't as angry about the wicked backlighting as everyone else was.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, it's like you're saying with like advancement in technology too. It's like with 28 years later.
Yeah.
And I always kind of chuckle when they say shot on an iPhone. It's like, well, they have an iPhone, but the rig is like another
Yeah.
25K. Like it's
Yeah.
and the reason they shot on an iPhone, like Danny Boyle said, because they just wanted to be able to get to areas faster and that would
Yes.
be more remote than just everyday London.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there is like that idea is like, yeah, you have a camera in front of you, you can go make anything. But I think when people hear that, they think it's gonna look like a 28
Right.
weeks later and or years
Right.
later, and it's not. You
Well,
gotta again, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're
you
doing.
right. You can't buy style. You just
No.
can't. You either have it or you
Mhm.
don't. And like we were saying earlier, with these great directors, you look at their early stuff, sure, you can see some of the seams, but it's there. The style is
Yeah.
there. The
Hmm.
talent is there. And yeah.
Like when we were talking about Duel, I was watching. I think Lucas was like he saw his Amblin short Spielberg's. He was like, yeah, it was all right. He was all right. It's very studio-y. And so he's like, I'll go check out this Duel thing. And he's like, holy shit, this guy's fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you just know right away, like, holy shit, this guy's got it.
This is very relatable as a parent when try to go away, or you're doing something for yourself or for fun, and then it's like you get pulled back in. Like my wife's birthday was just this last weekend, and we
Hmm.
had a plan to do X, Y, and Z, and then our youngest kid got very, very, very sick,
Yeah,
and so it's like, okay, well,
everything stops.
yeah, kids are good anchors to reality.
Hmm. I love that. No harm had been done. I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm very curious, what is like perched on the iron there? Is it like a big block of cheese? Like, is it some type of potpourri that
I
smokes and
don't
makes the house
know.
smell good? Because to me, from here, it looks like a big old sausage and a block of cheese.
They needed something in the frame. Maybe they wanted that. Maybe he likes cheese. Maybe
Sure.
the kid likes the smell of cheese.
Sure. Yeah.
It suits him.
But I like that we see Laura at home, engaged, interested, talking, conversations. She
Hmm.
doesn't come home and she's kind of shut off and
Distant.
dead. And
Yeah.
yeah, right. it's not like, oh, Laura, thank God you're here. Get to the dishes and get to this
Or
and
like,
get,
where the hell have you been? Yeah.
yeah, no, like she's just cool all the
Hmm.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, we see her kind of come alive with Alec, but like this bit here where she's like, I had lunch with a strange man. He took me to a movie. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. And then
you know,
she invites him like maybe he could come over here sometime. He's like, yeah,
yeah,
sure. And she's
yeah,
like, wait, I probably shouldn't have said that.
right.
We're going a little too far. Yeah, even like he's even seems like he's just chill. Like you think he would like you said she would come home and like be very distant and from her family, but like he's even like, yeah, I'm cool. We can invite him over. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
without knowing what's really been going on. Yeah, he says, good for you. If you watch him do the crossword, he's just basically going over the same dots over and over again.
Yeah, I wonder how many newspapers the prop department had.
Yeah, they're
Like,
probably like, just
oh,
go over
we're
the like.
out. You
There's
gotta,
you got to just keep writing over the same
yeah.
thing. Like if you look at it, it's just dots. There's like not actually letters in it.
hmm
Like,
I love the idea of the basket and the handbag. Like, I'm going to town, got my little basket.
but again, it's like he doesn't question it though, because he like
hmm
trusts her still.
Yes, yeah. This is painful, this whole sequence. This is very much what life was like. I don't know, Pat, how old are you?
I'm 33.
You're 30. All right, so you're only a little bit younger than me. I'll be
Mhm.
37 this year. This is exactly what it was like trying to do anything social before cell phones.
Oh yeah,
It's like, oh, we're gonna meet at the pizzeria at 3. And you're there
yeah.
and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then you're just wondering and thinking and like, oh my God, they all hate me.
Hmm.
They all left without me. My girlfriend broke up with me. Blah, blah, blah. And then you see everyone later and they're like, oh, sorry, we got a flat tire. And
No,
you're like,
we're late.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, there was no way of knowing.
Or like going to your friend's house. Like, well,
hmm
my friend didn't show up, so I guess something happened.
hmm
Like, I was even thinking about too, like pre like dating apps, like how people would date. You just
Yep.
kind of went out and we're like, hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
like,
That's always my
like
advice
this.
to people when they're like, how do I meet people? It's like, I don't know, do you like something?
Do you like
And
movies?
join, your library probably has a group for it.
Yeah,
Oh, you like D&D? Go to your local library D&D group.
yeah.
You'll meet a
Movie
bunch of people who
clubs.
like something you do. Date one of them.
So we used to do in
No, you
college.
can't do that. Okay, okay.
We would just go see a movie and then go to a bar and talk about it.
Her Banbury's.
Hmm. I love their little like flirtatious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a good contrast to the main story.
Hmm.
It's similar enough, but it's different enough. It's funny. I mean, I think without them, this would be really dour.
Yeah. And then you have the creep conductor come in.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she's just observing them. But yeah, like you said, everyone's had this feeling of, oh, maybe he isn't coming. Maybe I did get stood up, or they're not coming. Maybe they don't like me. Like, I'm gonna go cry now.
Yep. Love the music.
Hmm.
The score throughout this is so great. This part though, I noticed as I rewatched earlier, this is the first part of the movie as I'm watching, apart from the opening, that I really notice the music when he
Hmm.
comes in and it's very kind of hopeful and energetic.
Hmm.
Here, Tim Burton.
Yeah. I've always wanted to run after a train. I've never done that. I'm always a person that gets there like 10 minutes ahead.
Right.
Which I guess, speaking of Tim Burton, he kind of tried to do this style with Ed Wood.
Yeah. Which I actually think Ed Wood is a really
It's a good
beautifully
movie, yeah.
photographed movie. We just did that on the show. Uh, March, April, May, I think May.
Hmm.
And rewatching it, I was like, oh man, this is incredible. I think that's close to his best movie he's ever made.
Sometimes
Which
Tim Burton can hit,
unfortunately,
and
as the years
sometimes
go
he
on,
can't hit. So, you're not a big fan of Dumbo? How could
so
you?
it's funny that you bring that up. I actually think that Dumbo is the best Disney
Really?
live action remake because it's the only one where they try to do something new. And what
Mm.
they do is they let Tim Burton expose what an evil corporation Disney is by being like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a stand-in for Disney. This guy who is like, I'm going to take all the wonders of the world and bring them to one place.
Hmm.
That's Disney World. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty as a number one Disney hater. Uh yeah.
I cannot comment on that as I work for that company.
It's okay. You can.
So I
Disney
will not
sucks. It's all
I
right.
will not comment on I work for a little bit of a network on that
Sure.
company, so
Sure.
I'll keep my mouth shut on
Sure.
that.
Well, hey, I'm recommending go watch Disney's Dumbo.
Dumbo.
Tim Burton.
I have seen it. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
I was not a fan.
Y- Yeah, they like I said, they try to do something different instead of just a one for one remake or changing
Yeah.
it just enough to be, you know.
So I was surprised that I had a Train Your Dragon. I was like, isn't it just a shot for shot remake? Why is it getting good reviews? It's the same
Ugh,
thing.
stop.
All right, I'm gonna do a shot for shot remake of Brief Encounter. I'm
Yeah,
just
that
gonna
would be
take
fine.
this. I'm just gonna take this with the actual film, and then at the end, just say directed by me instead of directed by
Right,
David Lee.
right. Oh, British people and what they find funny.
Almost running into a bridge. It's funny.
I like this too because a lot of love stories are centered around younger people. And these are like
Hmm.
older, established people.
Late
I
30s,
don't
maybe
think I
early
would,
40s.
yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't say quite middle-aged, but they're not kids. They
Yeah.
know who they are. And
Hmm.
at no point are they like, oh, I'm just discovering who I am. They're discovering who
Yeah.
each other are and, you know, realizing that despite being married, they are capable of having feelings for other people. But
Hmm.
I like that this is about older, established people.
Hmm. And it could have come across as like quote unquote a midlife crisis,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think they are having it. I guess in a
No,
sense they are, but like not really,
yeah.
because it's
I
just a
mean,
thing they weren't expecting. It's not like they
it's
were
a
searching
crisis
for it. Yeah,
in the
it's
middle
like
of
they were
their life,
searching
but
for it. Yeah.
no, well, that's what I was saying about the whole thing with the speck in her eye. She's
Hmm.
just going about her, she's not, you know, this isn't the story of a woman who woke up one day frustrated in her home with a husband who doesn't acknowledge her, kids who hate her, you know what I mean? And she decides to go out and find something.
Yeah.
It's an encounter. It just, it
Hmm.
happens to them. So,
It's just a brief encounter. What I love about classic cinema is just how quickly they fall in love with each other. It's like three
mm-hmm,
scenes. You're like, yep,
mm-hmm,
and it works.
yep.
Like I feel more emotion in this than about 90% of movies that are released
Mm.
today.
Well, so I was thinking about this movie and I guess sincerity, you know? I think
Hmm.
that if you can buy into what they're doing, which is so simple, if you don't buy into it by the end, when Laura's like, I'm gonna run out and kill myself, right?
Hmm.
You could be like, this is ridiculous. She's so dramatic. Oh my God, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But if you allow yourself to just exercise your empathy, believe what they're saying, like everything that they're saying to you, believe it.
Hmm.
Believe that they mean what they're saying. It's a fantastic, emotional journey that you can go on
Hmm.
with them. And like, do you find this cynical? I don't find any of this to be cynical, where
No.
so much of how we talk nowadays is. And so that could also be
Hmm.
a really big difference.
I think that's what like draws me, especially when I was younger, to like older movies, was just the way they spoke wasn't how people spoke. So it felt more like they cared more in a sense,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, like, and people back then didn't speak that way. Like they didn't have like this transatlantic accents, like just walking
Yeah.
around like, "Hey, Sonny, you're gonna be a star." Like no one
Right.
talked like that. Like, but I
God,
think there's just a feeling like,
that
especially I always say like when I watch movies not from this century and before, maybe the 2000s, like I just have a different feeling than I do in movies made today. Like I feel something when I'm watching them.
yeah.
There's your third man of that shadow coming down.
That dissolve there from them in the tunnel to her sitting in the
Hmm.
chair. It's so good. Yeah, the Judd Apatowification of movies that
Hmm.
we're starting to get out of, I guess, in the last 5 years. I mean, that was great. You watch a movie like Superbad and Knocked Up, and it's like, wow, these people talk like real people.
Yeah.
That's refreshing. But
When they're funny
but
movies,
when that
great
becomes
movies.
a standard, it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Everything looks like that. Yeah.
there's something that disappears, the idea of putting on a show, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Well, that's
like
what
as a
like
big
sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, as a big fan of the Muppets, I'm a big believer in like, okay, it's time to put on a show. And that's
Yeah.
not just me, Kermit, going out. Like we're doing
Hmm.
bits and we're doing parts. Oh, this is my favorite. This is the scene that I
Hmm.
posted earlier. This shot of her reflection. It's
Oh yeah.
it's amazing. Like you see like the two women that she is, like the Laura that she's been and the Laura that
Hmm.
she's possibly going to become. And like even though it is her reflection looks just different enough from her in
Hmm.
the car. Like there, like in the reflection, she looks like she's smiling more than.
Then yeah, over there. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I see what
it's
you're
amazing.
saying.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite shots, like in all film history. It's so good.
Hmm. Yeah. It's because it's like she loves the idea of what's going on right
Mm-hmm.
now,
Yep.
and you just don't know how long it's gonna last. This could be the last moment of it, but
Yep.
ooh, then the dissolve to the oof, all the layers.
Mm-hmm.
But like what we were saying earlier, it's like when I was watching 28 Years Later. Spoiler, I assume probably when the time I release this will it'll be out for like a couple weeks, so it's not really a
Mm-hmm.
spoiler. But when they're running across, because you saw it, right?
Yeah.
When they're running back and that like that giant dude is like chasing after him.
Yeah.
Um and like the whole like it just looked like mythical. It looked like it was they
Yeah.
were like
Oh
in a
yeah.
different area. And it's like when I was watching that, like I heard people next to me like chuckle and it's like what is this? And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like this looks like I buy this. Like I like looking at this, like because it's like you're
Yeah.
trying to do something that's like you're trying to
Yes.
make a
Yes.
message that's not just basic, like oh they're just running across water at night and I can't see what's going on because it's so damn dark.
Yeah.
It's like like it feels like you're in a mythical place that's like not real, and I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to do. But then again, you
Yeah.
have people nowadays like kind of shrug it off and chuckle, be like, "This looks stupid. Like, look how it looks. Like, what? Like." And I'm waiting for that scene to come up when the movie goes on VOD on Twitter to be like, "You guys think this is good?" Question mark. Like,
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, I do think it's fucking good." Like,
Yeah. Well, I think, if you go if you go to the opera and you see someone standing there, the stereotypical like lady in the Viking helmet with the
Mm-hmm.
spear, I think you could sit there and be like, "Come on, what are we doing here?" Right? But
Yeah.
you have to buy in, and how you said it is precisely how I feel. It's like they're trying to do something
Mm-hmm.
with all of the lighting in this. We could, again, if you're not buying into Laura's journey, I can see someone watching this being like, she's annoying, she's dramatic, she's ridiculous, she's always looking crazy.
Yeah.
The lighting is trying to force us to feel more dramatic than it really is. But this is the most important thing in her life. And it might not be, stopping a war, fighting in a war. It might not be espionage, but to whoever is experiencing the most important thing to them, I'm going to word this very
Mm-hmm.
clunky.
You're good.
It
So
is
where I do that all
still
the
the
time.
most important thing to them, and it is
Mm-hmm.
worth seeing, appreciating, and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Yeah.
compare um trauma. You can't compare, if I had a parent who died of cancer and you had two,
I guess
yours
yeah.
was worse, but guess what?
Worse.
Mine was still the worst
Yeah.
thing. And so,
That happened to you, yeah.
yeah, I love this lady tweezing her eyebrows on the phone. Oh my God.
And he used another reflection for her when she
Mm-hmm.
went to the phone. The camera
Mm-hmm.
pushed into the reflection, then up.
Have you seen Cleo from 5 to 7?
I haven't seen it in a while. I need to rewatch it. I have the Varda Criterion box set. I need to like really make my way through that. A lot of their
It's
box
my
sets I just have like stacked up, and I was like, I need to get through these things. Like,
That's my favorite film for reflections, for mirrors.
mm,
And I always think to myself, like, this was before you could check it on the monitor.
yeah,
Like this is French New Wave. They're filming on handheld stuff, and there's so much.
you had to develop it and hope it was in focus.
Yes, exactly. Like Varda is just like, I feel like, flexing throughout that whole
Hmm.
movie, and the shots are incredible. Yeah, anyway. I always think
But
I always think that. And Varda's my favorite director, so
hmm
anytime I can recommend her stuff, I try to.
well, you were saying earlier too. It's like even with like the birth of noir, like someone had to be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna light it this way and see
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like."
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and then
And you could
it
laugh at it.
worked.
People could laugh
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
And you and I grew up around, the 90s, early 2000s. I
Hmm.
remember cartoons, lighting a noir scene of like a detective's office. And
Yeah.
they made jokes out of all of those things.
Hmm.
But I don't know. You have to be open to scrutiny if you want to try to do something for yourself.
Oh yeah, not
But yeah,
everyone's gonna like everything.
someone had to try, and someone had to do
Hmm.
it.
Same with like the French New Wave. Someone just like, what if I just did it this way?
Ugh,
It goes against the studio norm. What if I did
yeah.
it this way? Then you have like the 90s, that big indie, like, what if
Yeah.
I went and bought my own camera and shot it
Yeah.
on a tape?
Yeah, like Italian neorealism and all
Hmm.
of the movements that were like, actually, we're going to strip things away. Those are the things that speak to me, and those are the things that I'm interested
Hmm.
in. Um, everything that Edward Yang does, where it's like, what if there was a 4-hour movie with just people and very simple stuff that was beautiful? Yeah. You can keep every blockbuster and
I'd rather watch that than like I'd rather watch like Dr. Zhivago than like I'd rather watch that than a 5 hour Avengers movie.
yeah,
I'd watch that any day of the week.
yeah.
Because to me,
God,
it's like you're watching a product with the other stuff. This, you're
yeah,
watching someone that's trying to do something.
yeah. Also, great hats with these ladies.
And The lady on the left, her hat's like so
Yeah.
small, she's like gonna fall over.
It looks
But
like
it's like
someone kind of
strapped.
sat on it.
It
Yeah.
looked like it was like strapped around her head. Yeah.
It looks like oh gosh, what's his name from French Connection?
Like
Oh,
Gene
what's his
Hackman's hat.
name? Yeah, Gene Hackman's little pork pie hat.
Yeah. But if you the girl in the middle, if you watched her during that like when their interaction, she looked up and down to him and she looked up and down to her and then smirked, being like,
Mm-hmm.
I see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all she said. Did told her with your eyes. And I didn't catch that till like the second or third time. I was like, oh, she
It's
immediately
it,
clocks it.
yeah, it's funny how they keep almost getting caught, or they do get caught, or they get seen. That scene earlier where she calls someone to be like, "Oh, I need you to tell a little black lie."
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even though they're both very proper, they're married, they love their spouses, their draw is so strong to each other that, like, you live in fear of like, oh, I'm gonna get caught. Well, they get
Mm-hmm.
caught like three
Yeah.
or four times, and they're still just out in public together. They
Yeah.
still are, pursuing being with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that having all those little moments and interactions is more than just, filling up time. I think that, you know, they're showing how they're pushing against all the societal expectations of them.
Mm-hmm. And even after that interaction, because she noticed her, like she comes off a little like colder here. And you look at the tree in the
Hmm.
background, there's no leaves on it.
Mm.
It's a very
Hmm.
like cold, like she wants
Yeah.
to like kiss him, but like also like she feels bad. Like she feels
Right.
like we shouldn't be doing this and we're getting really risky hanging out in public.
Yep. Every time Alec kisses her, it is like he's like attacking her. It's
Yeah.
insane. He just pounces. It's like, Alec, come on,
I love old movie kisses because they just rub their lips together and move their heads back
man.
and
Hmm.
forth.
There he goes.
I can see why Greta Gerwig loves this movie. I can see
Mm.
she takes a lot of elements, I feel like.
I I think that she does a good job of putting a real like layer of sadness
Hmm.
under all of her movies. Even though her movies look good, they're quirky and they're funny, there's such a sadness throughout Lady Bird and Little Women and Barbie.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can definitely see her really enjoying this. This movie's painful. Like it's
Hmm.
very painful to watch for me. It's not something that I would say, "Oh, you're going to enjoy this so much."
Yeah. I love that. It's the train slowly comes in as they
Hmm.
kiss, and then once they kiss, boom, explosion. Almost like a reference like we could just run away with each other.
Yeah. Well, and also trains are not like necessarily late in this movie. Everyone's always running for the train. You're always
Hmm.
hearing the train whistle, and that's a signal that it's time to go. And so
Time to
it's like
go.
a
Yeah.
constant reminder throughout their relationship that like their days are numbered, their time is
Yep.
coming to an end. It's yeah.
They're just a train passing by. How long have the sandwiches been sitting there for? They can't be good. Yeah, you're right. Like this, it's like a different interaction of like quote unquote love,
Yeah.
flirting. Like these guys flirt like assholes
Yeah.
and treat her like garbage.
Yep.
because some people like would just like brush these off, like, who cares? These scenes don't matter. And
Yep.
I think that's the whole point of the movie is these are the other interactions of people trying to find love.
Yeah. Well,
But
and
it's like forced interaction.
yeah, you could say that Alec is not respecting Laura. And, again, this is going back to the time period that this is in, right? You could say that
Hmm.
Alec and Laura are not respecting each other, that they're putting too much pressure on each other to potentially ruin each other's lives, right?
Hmm.
The main conductor and the woman, he pinches her butt at one point, and it's
Yeah.
it's played off. It's funny, haha. That's kind of the type of flirting that they're doing with each other, but it's still inappropriate. And I
Hmm.
think that's what this whole movie is. It's like
Yeah.
flirting with
There's there
disaster, flirting with the line of what is acceptable to
and
each
what is
other.
inappropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, what is inappropriate. And like when you're in a relationship with someone, obviously you need to have respect as the foundation of everything, right?
Hmm.
You're not going out and like slapping someone's butt in front of their family, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Even that
And then
younger
at this,
girl came up was and was like, "Why do you let them talk to you like that?"
yep, yep,
Like a younger generation even clocks it.
yep, yep. So yeah, it's a good, like you said, you might not know. I mean, I don't know. Is this the 15th time I'm watching Brief Encounter, maybe? But yeah, like the more you watch it, the more you see, like it's all images within images of
Hmm.
the grander discussion of uh risking it to get the
Hmm.
biscuit, like
Even who she sat next to a couple right there.
hmm.
Yeah, she's risking it to get the biscuit. Maybe she just likes train stations.
Yeah. So this is something that if you're listening to this, you probably already know, but the inspiration for the apartment is this movie. Did you know that?
I think I read that somewhere.
Yep.
Another great film. Highly recommend.
Yeah, that just celebrated 75, 50 years, something like that.
That came out 60? Yeah, 1960, so 75.
Yep, 75 years. Yeah, so I guess so Billy Wilder watched Brief Encounter and he was like, it was a great movie, but I was interested in the guy with the apartment. He's like, what about that
Hmm.
guy? Like, what's that guy's life like? And so he
Yeah.
wrote The Apartment about a dude whose bosses and superiors at work use his apartment as a place to meet ladies.
Hmm.
And once I found that out, I was like, oh, that's also really funny.
So I guess The Apartment is the spiritual sequel to Brief Encounter.
Mm-hmm.
It's his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Even though this dude is much uh smoother and capable, I guess, of handling the situation than Jack Lemon's CC Baxter is.
Wasn't there another movie called it came out in like the 2010s, I think, called like The Loft or something? Or it was like a
uh
bunch of like married guys were like, this is our apartment for women. I could be, let me see. The
yeah,
Loft.
yeah.
Yeah, The
The
Loft 2014.
the
James
loft, the
Marsden.
right
Yeah.
place to do wrong.
Yeah, it's literally like
Interesting.
it's like they all like pitch in on an apartment or whatever to like take their quote unquote mistresses back.
Wow.
I haven't seen the film and I probably won't, so I just remember that film. It's a remake of a Dutch 2008 film or Belgian film.
Oh my gosh. Directed by the same guy. That's got to, dude. That would be my nightmare to direct the same movie twice. I hate doing
Hmm.
anything like having to repeat something.
And
Forget
then you have
about it.
Hollywood producers down your back now.
Oh, like it's like, didn't we already do this? Like, ah,
Looks like the How to Train Your Dragon. It's the same guy. It's like, didn't you already
Yeah,
do this?
or Hanukkah doing funny
Funny games
games. Like,
twice.
come on. That's the funny games. That's
Yeah.
that's the torturous experience. He funny
Yeah, he wanted
gamed
to feel it.
himself.
He wanted to be meta. He wanted to be in it. This guy looks high as fuck.
Hmm.
Like, just, yeah, I couldn't imagine like direct. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. You can get someone else to do that. Directing the same exact thing. Damn, these are really long like hangers for a
What did you say?
picture frame. The picture frame, look at the hanger like wire that's like holding them up.
Did you see the fish tank? It's like off in the corner.
Hmm. Gotta have him running in rain. It's more
Yeah,
dramatic.
yeah.
I love like the old Hollywood facts are like, remember the scene when they were running in the rain? They were always sick. like,
Yes.
like singing in the rain. Like he had
Yep.
like 103-degree fever all day.
Yep. Yeah, it's such a it's hard to even remember, even though I lived through it. But the idea of like no one being able to get a hold of you, and like you
Hmm.
can find a payphone and you can get a hold of them, but we were just all floating out there in the
Yeah.
world,
Like
completely untethered.
you just like went to school and came home,
Hmm.
and I guess they just hoped you'd come home. Like,
Yeah.
and then they would hope you would be home when they showed up. Well, yeah, I guess I'm
Yep.
home.
Yeah. So like the evolution of like the lying and
Hmm.
now needing to like create
She's not
more
wearing a hat anymore.
stories and involve more people and
She's come unraveling. Her hat's gone. She's not in control anymore. Oof, look at that lighting on the face. Perfect. Little soft though, but it works. That's like my favorite in the Manchurian Candidate when the famous scene where it's like out of focus. So like
hmm
people like
hmm
thought they actually meant to do that. It's like, oh no, when we saw the dealers, we realized it was out of focus. But we still put it in there. It's just a thing where you're like, oh fuck. Like you said,
Yeah,
you
I
didn't know
think
until you developed it. You're like, God damn
right.
it, it's out of focus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm a lot more forgiving.
Hmm.
I'm a lot more forgiving with technical problems. I just don't care about that. It's just not
Yeah.
interesting to me. I think you should do the best that you can, but
Hmm.
oh no,
Every film
something
has
was
it.
a little out of
Yeah.
focus, or oh no, something
I know there's a camera in the top right corner of the frame. If you stop it for half a second, like, okay.
yeah, who cares? Yeah, I'm a big fan of like no budget, made by hand movies where you can see all of the seams and acting's not great. You know, who cares? Just as long as
Hmm.
people are making movies. And I think that if our, standard for entry is, you know, an Avengers movie, and that's what movies are to you, then it's going to limit who can make them, who can afford to
Hmm.
make them, how they can make them, and that's not right.
Yeah, I think that's my problem now too. It's either superhero or A24.
Hmm.
That's the market. And I got like A24. I think they people don't realize that they buy 95% of their projects. They don't
Right.
produce
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But it's like I think I get this like the idea of what they're going for. Like they're trying to be a top prestigious indie company, but I think it's slowly started to corner a market where it's like people only go see they see the A24 logo and they clap. Like,
Right.
why are we clapping?
I also think that that's funny because then somebody will post a picture of like the Touchstone logo and
Hmm.
be like, "What's the first movie that comes to mind when you
Like
see the
this.
Touchstone logo?" And everyone's like, "Oh my God, I love the Touchstone logo. And I love those movies. When I was a kid, oh, we would rent a movie on a Friday night and I would see that logo." And it's like, do you hear yourself? Like
And I'm like,
you're doing the
adventures in
same thing.
babysitting.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't to me it's just like I want to see what the movie is. I don't care like
Right.
what company's
Yeah.
distributing this. But I'm not talking A24. I like A24. And if you like A24, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, a movie has to be judged on the content of the film.
Yeah.
Eh, Everything else is just not, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how much it made. And
Exactly.
in 30 years, no one will know. No one
Nope.
will know. We know how much Jaws made and how much that cost because that's a major Hollywood story.
Hmm.
How much did the French Connection cost? How much did that make? Do you know? You have no
Couldn't tell you.
idea, and
No.
you don't care.
Yeah.
And if you finish the French Connection and the first thing that you do is look up the box office, you should probably stop what you're doing and don't do that, you
That's the
know?
same thing I have with like, the Oscars. I'm like, everyone like I watch the Oscars, but it's like, I mean, can you name me all of the costume design noms from 1983? Who won it?
No,
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 you don't
no,
care.
no.
Like, so I'll like for this, like I'll be like, I'm curious to see what won Best Picture or like
Sure.
who won Best Actress. Like, I'm also not alive in 1945, so I don't really care. I
Yeah,
know the movies that I like. This
yeah,
movie has stood the test of time. The best years of our lives did win Best Picture. It's
yeah. Great
great, good
movie.
movie. Great
Yeah.
movie.
This part of the relationship is also very interesting. When you're in a relationship with somebody, embarrassing them is no
Mm,
good. It's should be the goal of every person is to never, publicly humiliate their partner. And so they're going through this like weird microcosm of a relationship in only a
mm.
few dates.
It's and then they're in that same little like bar area where the train is, and there's no one in the bar now.
Hmm.
Entirely different feeling in this bar.
Hmm. It's soured basically, like,
Hmm.
the fun is kind of over and the
Yeah,
reality of, like I said,
it's
like
setting
being
in.
caught over and over and over again
Yep.
is not as fun as the thrill of the potential of being caught.
Hmm. Like even right there, as soon as the door opened, they both were like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I gotta go. Bye."
Yep.
This girl has secrets. She sees all. She's always got her eye looking around. Even this entire like the whole there's no trains. They're the only ones
Right.
there.
Yep.
But again, they'll go home and probably their spouses don't think anything of it.
Yep.
It's always a job offer. It's always a job
Hmm.
offer. Not just, nah, I don't feel like being here anymore. I'm gonna
Right.
go. That's what I like the materialist people were like, I guess kind of dogging on the ending. And I'm like, man, You guys would hate movies that were made in the 1950s because that's like every 1950s ending. Like,
I had a lot of fun with Materialists. I thought it was good. I thought they did a good job of the sound design in that. There's something I haven't heard anyone talk about is the sound design. They
it
just
felt like a movie from a
strip,
different era. That's what
yeah, they
when I was
strip
watching
the
it.
vocals out and boost them so
Hmm.
much, and it's like a play, like
Yeah.
as if you have a play and you seat two people in the middle, and it's like this is the the cafe scene. And at first there's hustle and bustle, but then as their conversation goes on, it just focuses on them and you don't hear anything
Hmm.
anymore. I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, people, yeah, if you're not happy in life, you're never going to be happy and nothing's going to make you happy. So I'm tired of paying attention to the people who are just
Yeah.
not happy.
Here's your Criterion cover.
Yep. It's great shot.
They're both going to go in opposite direction, though. Damn, forgive me for meeting you in the first place. I love there's a sign that just says smoking.
Yeah.
Just no, not no smoking, smoking.
Yep.
Again, you forget she's still talking to her husband, kind of telling her
Yep.
what's going on.
Yep.
And it seems like it's getting colder outside too.
Yep.
Now their expressions in the car are very like, we know this is ending.
It's tough. I've had a few moments or times with people where it's like, okay, this is the last time we're doing this, or the last time I've worked at a few businesses that shut down, and it was like,
Hmm.
today's the last day, and
Yeah.
there is really, yeah. I don't think that humans were meant to know when the time is coming
Yeah.
because it ain't enjoyable. Like they're not
No.
having a great time. They're not like,
Nope.
oh, this is our
It's the
last
same
day.
scenes.
Yep.
Same scenes, same shots. They had kissed
But
most in those last scenes, and now they're not kissing anymore.
yep. It's all spoiled by knowing that it's the end.
Yep.
If they didn't know that today was going to be the last day, they'd be having a great time.
Hmm. They're having a miserable time. She lost
So
her
then
hat.
we're back. Not to draw too much attention away, but her jacket is I can't get a handle on it. I
Yeah,
cannot
so
understand what's
it's like a
happening.
weird like V up, and then like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like half fur, half
like
blazer.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but it's something.
Maybe they needed the reflection on her eye on her face, so they cut out the bottom part. Yeah, now we're coming full circle back to that first moment. He doesn't show you yet though,
Mm-hmm.
until the yapper starts coming in.
Yep.
Damn, I want to die.
It's amazing how, yeah, like you hear everything that you've already heard, and not that long ago, not 3 hours ago, it was an hour ago,
Hmm.
and it just all has a totally different spin. And yeah, how the light changes around Laura, it's
Hmm.
incredible.
She's so good at moving her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She should have won Best Actress. Calling it. Going back in time. Oh, I see. The coat's open. That's
Ah,
what it is. I see. So it, like pulls out open.
It's also pretty amazing that one of the last thing that he says to her is the first thing that he says to her.
Mm.
You know, I'm a general practitioner. I'm a doctor. And that's it.
This when we tilt. Yeah.
She looks so much like Susan Sarandon at times.
Oh yeah. Like there's side profile.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, now the touch again. Damn. Their last interaction is the touch. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that she walks into frame and sits down.
I know.
It's like, that's where he was sitting.
Yep. Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's very final. It's not it
The
doesn't
Dutch angle.
drag out. It doesn't really give her time at all. It's rough.
Weird to say that this is my favorite part of the movie because it's like she's about to
No,
almost kill herself. Like,
no, it's the best. I mean,
yeah,
it's
when that
again,
goes to
it's
that
like,
Dutch angle and then she
yep.
runs out and then he pulls it back into center frame.
I love the it's very Hitchcock to me.
Hmm.
The the running, the lights flashing, the
The
look on
train
her
sound,
face.
yeah, the quick
Yep,
editing.
this yeah, it's great.
I'm sure Hitchcock probably loved this film.
Yeah. Except Hitchcock would have had the train moving like 5 times as fast.
Yeah. And a close up on her feet, probably.
Hmm. God, that
And he just
shot of her.
slowly just put it right back.
Yep. When the lights are over and it's just her hair
Hmm.
flopped in front of her face in the dark, it's like this woman who's been put together the whole movie, and it's so good.
Eyes just, her hair just covering her eyes, and her
Yep.
other eyes just in darkness. There's your old Hollywood close up. They didn't do
Mm-hmm.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, imagine hearing like this. Your wife just comes home and tells you this whole thing. You'd be like, damn, a lot. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my crossword puzzle now.
Yeah.
Basically, it's what he does.
Well, you know, you have a decision to make, and I think he kind of makes the right one here. You know, it's
Hmm.
like, well, I'm either going to listen to all this and have a big reaction, or I'm going to hear what she's saying, you know?
Yeah, I think what does he say? He's like, you were gone for a while, now you're back.
Mhm.
Even the look on his face there, like he feels her sadness.
Yeah.
Like he said, he could have just been like, "What do you mean you were with another guy?" And then it leads to a whole thing.
The doctor guy?
Yeah, that guy. I thought he was just
The
coming over
movie
for dinner.
guy?
Yeah, like he's asking her if she wants any help. Yeah, you've been a long way away. It's a great line. And thank you for coming back to me. Damn.
Yeah, it's great.
What a film.
Yep.
Ah.
And yeah, that we end there is always very interesting to me because
Mhm.
Fred is not given much time and we don't see him a lot, and he kind of gets the final word, and their relationship, it's like everything that happens is the focus, but in reality it's the story of Fred and Laura's relationship, and everything that's happening is in light of that. It's very
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah.